Dawn didn't just stumble into an AI error. They got caught, embarrassed, and pushed into a public apology that spread across the media landscape like a warning flare. And the irony is hard to ignore. Many newsrooms are already experimenting with AI quietly, cautiously, woven into workflow behind the scenes. They just don't want their audiences to know how much they rely on it. What they fear more than the mistake itself is admitting openly, yes, AI is here, we use it, and this time we failed to supervise it properly. Instead, the industry scrambles to protect reputation, offering partial truths rather than full transparency. And that is the first layer of what journalism won't admit about AI. Because when you look past the polished explanations, ethics, accuracy, safeguarding standards, you run straight into the real motives. Journalists aren't terrified of AI hallucinations or bad sourcing. They're terrified of competition. They're terrified of losing the exclusivity they've long enjoyed, the authority to frame arguments, shape narratives, and define the intellectual landscape. For years, opinion building, analysis, and editorial framing were treated as high craft, accessible only to the professionally trained. Generative AI disrupts that mythology. Suddenly, anyone with a strong idea and a decent tool can produce structured, persuasive text. That flattening of power is the real threat. Readers, on the other hand, don't care who typed the sentences. They care whether they're credible, clear, and grounded. They already know journalism carries bias. They know every outlet has slants, ideological leanings, and editorial lines. That's not new. AI doesn't introduce bias. It just makes the industry confront how systematic bias always was. So when journalists get loud about authorship panic or AI diluting authenticity, most readers barely flinch. If something is wrong, it gets debunked on social media within minutes anyway. The era of gatekeeping accuracy is already over, with or without AI. What journalism has historically controlled is access. Access to platforms, access to amplification, access to narrative dominance. And AI directly undermines that, not by replacing truth, but by democratizing the ability to comment on it. When argument construction becomes faster, sharper, and more guided, the monopoly over professional commentary starts to erode. That loss of exclusivity is the bruise the industry keeps trying to hide. Underneath all of this also sits labor anxiety. AI doesn't just threaten interns summarizing reports. It threatens columnists, desk writers, mid-level editors, the people who justify their role through professional judgment that AI is increasingly able to imitate. And when livelihoods feel uncertain, people don't respond with calm reason. They respond with moral panic disguised as ethical concern. But the deepest, most unspoken fear is narrative ownership. Journalism isn't merely about transmitting facts. It's about shaping how the public interprets them. That interpretive power has always been the true currency of the profession. AI destabilizes it. If readers can generate their own arguments, perspectives, and analyses with technical polish, then the traditional hierarchy of media authority becomes shaky. The public no longer needs permission to participate in meaning-making. So yes, it's time to get real. The loud warnings about AI are less about protecting truth and more about protecting turf. Ethics matter, accuracy matters, trust matters, but they're not the engine behind this panic. The engine is control. Who gets to speak, who gets to shape, who gets to define the frame. Journalism isn't afraid that AI will undermine truth. It's afraid that AI will undermine journalists.